Narrator, tone, nervous with dreams in my heart, I stepped into the campus. Seeing the bustling crowd ahead, I felt a wave of timidity, as if I were rooted to the spot, my mind blank.
A girl just arrived, looks like a freshman. You go help her.
Volunteer 2, tone, reluctant I'm not going. She's not a beauty, and besides, she has so much luggage. It'll tire me out.
The volunteers were pushing each other, but none stepped forward.
Michael, tone, friendly hello, are you a freshman?
Narrator, tone, surprised a clear and pleasant voice pulled me out of my daze. I turned to see a boy smiling at me. His features were delicate, and his skin seemed to glow under the sunlight. He was the most handsome boy I had ever seen, almost indescribable. My face turned red instantly.
Emily, tone, shy, oh, yes, I am a freshman.
I'm a volunteer from the school. Let me help you with your luggage.
Emily, tone, embarrassed, I have a lot of luggage. It will be very heavy.
Michael, tone, cheerful girls tend to bring more things. Don't underestimate your senior.
I was amused, and my nervousness eased a bit. Michael found the girl's reluctance to trouble others quite endearing.
Wait here for a moment. I'll get something.
Okay.
I watched his figure intently as he walked to the student reception area and picked up a bottle of water.
Here.
Emily, tone, puzzled, thank you.
It's really hot today. I noticed your face was red earlier. Don't get heat stroke. Have some cold water.
Thank you.
I stole a glance at him. Little did he know, it was the beginning of a girl's first crush. Michael left casually, not giving the incident much thought. Naturally, he didn't foresee the significant entanglement that would follow with this girl. Back in the dorm, I sat on the bed, staring at the bottle of water, smiling foolishly. That was our first meeting.
Sarah, tone, excited Emily, do you want to check out the club recruitment?
Okay.
For some reason, I felt a sense of anticipation.
Wow, it's so lively.
Sarah dragged me through the various club recruitment booths. My eyes searched the crowd.
Did you see that? That senior is so handsome, and his smile is so gentle.
Hearing the chatter from nearby classmates, I immediately thought of him, the person I had kept in my heart. I turned and smiled. It was really him. I couldn't help but walk over, my heart filled with excitement and nervousness.
Michael, tone, gentle, are you interested in the photography club?
Wow, I didn't expect our club to be so popular. So many people applied.
It's all because of President Michael's good looks, attracting a bunch of admirers.
Michael remained silent in the face of the teasing, already used to it. He pulled out a resume.
This one looks good.
After joining the club, I thought it was the beginning for us, but it ended before it even started. After introducing myself, I learned the name of the boy I had kept in my heart, Michael. What a nice name, just as gentle as he was.
Hi, freshman.
Hello.
Am I that scary?
Oh, no, I'm just a bit nervous. I blushed with embarrassment.
It's okay, you'll get used to it. Photography is really interesting. You'll like it even more once you get into it.
Oh, okay, I'll do my best. While I was lost in his gentleness, a sudden remark woke me up.
Did you know? Our Vice President Michael is not only handsome but also has a great personality. He and his girlfriend have been together since high school, and they both got into the same university. What a perfect couple.
Hearing this, I was stunned. I had never imagined he would have a girlfriend, but it made sense. Someone as excellent as him having a girlfriend wasn't surprising. I forced a bitter smile, tears welling up in my eyes. I sniffed and pretended not to care, lifting my head to hold back the tears. After learning this, I intentionally kept my distance from him, even though we were never that close to begin with. But what could I do? I couldn't control myself. I felt like a despicable voyeur. Even knowing he had a girlfriend, even knowing he didn't like me, I couldn't help it. Wherever he was, everything else faded into the background, and my eyes were only on him. When our eyes met unintentionally, I would quickly look away, afraid that everyone would discover my secret crush. Michael was a name I kept deep in my heart, known only to me. His girlfriend was wonderful, smart, beautiful, lively, and charming. She would act playfully around him, and he would look at her with indulgence. His eyes and heart were full of her. Seeing their happiness, despite the bitterness in my heart, I could only choose to bless them. The members of the photography club were all very friendly. Honestly, the atmosphere made me very happy to be there. I became friends with everyone, including Michael. I tried hard to suppress my feelings for him, constantly telling myself, if I spend more time with him, I can see him as just a friend, and only a friend. That stage rehearsal completely shattered my hopes. Michael's girlfriend and I were accidentally left in a corner when a prop, not properly placed, came crashing down towards us. He rushed over with a look of panic that left me stunned.
Watch out!
When Michael pulled his girlfriend aside, I couldn't dodge in time, and the prop hit my leg. The intense pain overwhelmed me, and I cried loudly, heartbroken.
Move the prop away. Quick. Get her to the school clinic.
Everyone thought I was crying because of the pain and hurriedly moved the prop away, sending me to the school clinic. But no one knew that the emotional pain was far worse than the physical. No one knew that at that moment, my hope was shattered. I lay in the dorm for a whole week, feeling like a lifeless body. After a week, I slowly came out of it. I took out a mirror and was startled by my pale, bloodless face. I sighed, patted my face, and resumed my normal life. When I arrived at the club rehearsal venue as usual, everyone gathered around to check on me, warming my heart. But when my eyes swept over Michael, I noticed he seemed a bit evasive. Although I was puzzled, I really didn't want to, nor had the energy to, pay attention. Michael had been having the same nightmare every night. Although he knew he hadn't done anything wrong, the thought that he might have been able to save both of us if he had been a bit faster was drowning him in guilt. While staying behind to organize the stage props, he walked straight towards me, and I was a bit puzzled.
Sorry about that day. The props weren't arranged properly, and you got hurt.
Seeing the sincere apology in Michael's eyes, I felt something indescribable inside. Michael, as a boyfriend, you protected your girlfriend first in a crisis. As the vice president, you took responsibility. As a senior, you cared for your juniors with kindness. In every aspect, you did well. My judgment was right, I didn't like the wrong person. Michael, you are worth it. I suddenly smiled happily. Senior, it's okay. It wasn't your fault, and it was just a minor injury. I'm recovering well now.
That's good. If you need anything, you can come to me. After all, I'm your senior.
Yes, sir. I playfully saluted. Michael was amused and returned the salute symbolically. Watching his departing figure, my heart was filled with mixed emotions. I had promised myself to continue disliking him, but it seemed I couldn't. After a few months of peaceful coexistence, everything seemed to be moving in a positive direction. I thought I had moved on from Michael, so even if we made eye contact, I would be calm. Until that day, when I had to turn back halfway because I forgot my backpack, I accidentally overheard Michael and Olivia arguing. The voices seeped through the door, and for the first time, I realized he could lose control like that.
Michael, let's break up.
Why? Why are you bringing this up out of nowhere?
I'm going abroad.
So? Going abroad doesn't mean we have to break up.
Michael, have you ever thought about me? You want to be a war correspondent, but the life I want is something you can't give me. What we had in high school was just youthful ignorance. Now we're adults, and we need to face reality.
You knew I wanted to be a war correspondent a long time ago. Why are you bringing this up now?
I thought it was just a dream. Now you're telling me you want to make it a reality. Do you know what being a war correspondent means? You can't give me a stable life, not even the simplest companionship. I don't want to live in constant worry, wondering if I'll hear bad news about you one day. Let's end this amicably.
Hearing someone about to come out, I quickly hid. I saw Olivia storm out, and my heart was a mix of emotions. Is this why you gave up on Michael? I anxiously waited at the door for half an hour. Why hasn't he come out yet? Could he be doing something foolish? I quietly pushed the door open, and our eyes met, the awkwardness thick in the air. I just came to get my backpack. Seeing Michael's dejected state, I stopped in my tracks. I heard there's a new bar near the school. Want to check it out with me? I'm interested, but I don't want to go alone.
I don't want to go.
Hey, didn't you say I could come to you for anything? What, does your promise have an expiration date? In the dimly lit bar, Michael drank one glass after another. Watching his pain, I felt a bit sad too. Do you really like her that much? Michael said nothing, continuing to drink. I suddenly grabbed his glass, and as the spicy alcohol hit my mouth, I felt a bit dizzy. Hey, Michael, want to make a bet? I stared straight into his eyes.
Let's bet on whether you really like her.
How?
3 months, just 3 months. Date me, and if after 3 months you still can't forget her, then it proves you love her, deeply love her.
Why should I bet?
Because you also want to know how much you really like her, whether you can let her go, and whether your decision is worth it.
3 months, it was also a bet with myself. We started dating, just like any couple. I even searched online for tips. What do couples do? Good morning. Good morning. We greeted each other every morning at 7, good afternoon, at noon, and good night, at 10 every night. We had lunch together every day.
What do you want to eat? I'll get the food, you just wait here.
Okay. I would also, like Olivia, put the food I didn't want to eat on his plate, even though he wouldn't eat it either. But it was a formality, a display of intimacy between us. We would go to the library together, quietly reading without disturbing each other. After evening classes, he would fulfill his duty as a boyfriend and walk me safely back to the dorm, even though the teaching building was only 100 meters away. We would hug at the dorm entrance to end the day. Of course, there were also some annoying things during our relationship. Handsome guys naturally attract attention, especially Michael and his ex-girlfriend, who were considered a perfect couple by many. Rumors spread. Some said I was a homewrecker, ruining their relationship. Others said I used unscrupulous means to pursue Michael. But no matter what was said outside, I turned a deaf ear. I only needed 3 months. After 3 months, regardless of the outcome, I would have tried my best and would have no regrets. In the student cafeteria, we sat together eating quietly, but it didn't feel awkward.
Did you know? When I was a kid, I had a dream of becoming a war correspondent.
I felt awkward, thinking, I heard that day, but would saying it now hinder his dream? So I wisely said nothing.
My dream hasn't changed.
Do you really like being a war correspondent?
Yes, I really like it.
Seeing the passion in Michael's eyes for his dream, I felt a warmth in my heart and blurted out, "That's great."
Oh? What's great about it?
Realizing what I said, I blushed, having something you love and working hard for it for so long, with a chance to make it a reality, that's already great.
Yes.
Michael looked out the window, the sunlight streaming through, touching his hair, making him seem to glow. 3 months later, Michael and I sat in a cafe, just looking at each other in silence.
Have you been happy during this time?
Yes. I nodded sincerely. To be honest, I had been very happy during this time.
I need to thank you. These 3 months with you have been very relaxing. But you know, I don't have romantic feelings for you.
I know. How could I not feel it? I also knew that Michael had tried to like me, but feelings can't be forced.
I'm really sorry.
No need. I should be the one thanking you. Thank you for trying to be my boyfriend for these 3 months and for fulfilling one of my wishes. My words came from the heart.
That's good. You're a great girl. I hope this relationship doesn't leave you with any regrets.
I'm already very satisfied. I stood up and hugged Michael. As I turned to leave, I remembered something. Oh, I also want to tell you, you're really great. I hope you achieve your dreams soon. Goodbye. I walked out of the cafe decisively. When a maple leaf from the tree fell on my head, I felt a bit dazed. After this 3-month relationship ended, I had an indescribable feeling, a sense of peaceful acceptance. During these 3 months, I tried hard to be in a relationship with Michael, to immerse myself in the role of his girlfriend and do things couples do. I knew he was also trying hard to cooperate, to fulfill the responsibilities of a boyfriend. But after spending time together, I realized that love cannot be faked. Love is love, and if it's not there, no amount of effort can create it. To be honest, I was also a bit tired. I didn't know why, but even though we were in a relationship, I didn't feel the same passion as before. A relationship with preconditions felt like fulfilling a duty, making me realize that it was just a bet, not true love. But after 3 months of effort, I understood that some things can't be forced. Being with someone you don't love won't bring happiness. At least I have no regrets. Many years later, I can tell myself that I boldly pursued my love, even if the outcome wasn't ideal. That's good enough. Compared to an unfulfilled crush, trying and not ending up together isn't so regrettable. After walking a bit, I looked back at the cafe. I wished both of us well in the future. My name is Michael. My father was a war correspondent. My childhood memories are filled with his constant travels, but I admired him greatly.
A war correspondent uses their camera to convey the most authentic scenes from the battlefield to the people.
So, I always aimed to follow in his footsteps, aspiring to become a war correspondent. Even after my father lost his life in a conflict, my resolve didn't waver. Instead, it strengthened my desire to continue his work and complete what he couldn't.
On the first day of my freshman year, I encountered a bewildered little girl. For some reason, she felt familiar to me.
Later, in the photography club, I heard her say something that stuck with me.
Because I love it.
Yes, because of love, I relentlessly pursued my dreams. Seeing her determination, I silently cheered for her. Since she loved photography so much, I hoped she could join the club as she wished.
When she had an accident, that moment of eye contact, I felt more sadness and sorrow than fear. Her gaze made me feel a pang of guilt, even a desire to avoid it.
After we broke up, instead of feeling heartbroken, I felt a sense of relief. I was willing to sacrifice everything for my dreams, but it was unfair, even cruel, to others. That night, while drinking, I told myself I would live a solitary life. But that little girl, whom I always treated like a sister, suddenly confessed she wanted to be my girlfriend.
I want to be your girlfriend.
Through her eyes, I could clearly see her affection for me, but I couldn't reciprocate, nor would I ever be able to.
I was certain I didn't have romantic feelings for her. I intended to firmly reject her, but seeing the deep sadness in her eyes, I sighed inwardly. What should I do? Wouldn't it hurt her? I agreed to give it 3 months. After 3 months, when she realized our incompatibility, she would give up. I knew she wanted to try, to see the outcome, even if it wasn't favorable, just like I chose to become a war correspondent.
In the end, as I expected, after realizing our incompatibility, she accepted it calmly. I knew she would embrace a new life, and I was genuinely happy for her.
After this, I needed to start working towards my goals step by step.
5 years later, unexpectedly, I joined the news editing department. In my career as a news editor, I thrived because I had discovered my goal and worked hard to achieve it. At 8 in the morning, I got up as usual, but for some reason, I felt a sense of unease. After making breakfast, I sipped my coffee while picking up the newspaper on the table. When I saw the headline "War Correspondent Heroically Sacrificed," my heart skipped a beat. I quickly put down my coffee to read the report. The outcome I dreaded the most had finally happened. Michael had sacrificed himself in the war, shot by enemy forces while protecting a little girl. A loud buzzing filled my ears, and I collapsed into my chair. Michael, the person I had always respected so much, was gone, taken at the prime of his life. I felt immense sorrow for his sudden passing. After calming down, I also felt a bit of solace because he had given his life for his dream and probably had no regrets. I took a leave of absence and bought a bouquet of flowers. After finding out where his tombstone was, I drove there. As I approached, I saw a woman standing in front of his grave. Oh, it was his ex-girlfriend who had gone abroad. Without saying a word, I quietly placed the flowers on the ground. In the photo, he was smiling happily with his camera.
You know, I always knew this day would come.
I remained silent.
I told him back then that this job was dangerous, but he wouldn't listen. He insisted on going, and now he's lying here. He wasn't even 30. Why does it have to be so cruel?
After she left, I continued to stare at the tombstone. You achieved your dream. Are you happy? But I think you might have some regrets. You could have had so much more time to contribute to the country. But I believe you wouldn't have any regrets. Oh, I haven't told you yet. I also found my dream and successfully achieved it. I'm living well now. The little girl you always took care of has grown up beautifully. It's a pity you can't see it with your own eyes now. As I spoke, my eyes began to well up. I looked up at the sky, trying to hold back my tears as I usually did, but I found that I couldn't. Why? Why couldn't I hold them back? He was so young, meant to bloom, yet he withered without warning. I felt a deep sorrow for him. The sunlight shone on the tombstone, making him truly shine in everyone's hearts.